I just want to say thank you so much for being here. I just wanted to take a quick moment to introduce you to one of our staff members. She's sitting right next to me. Her name is, I don't know if you could see her, but her name is Mariana. Would you mind sharing with her what your major is?
Yeah, my major is computer science, and I'm attending here City College and also Mesa College.
Awesome. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And then I'm Lawson. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today here at San Diego City College. We're excited to learn more about your journey, your career, where you got to where you are today. So please take it away and just introduce yourself.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Lawson, for having me. Hi, everyone. My name is Mireille Lecourtois. I'm flexible on the pronunciation of my first name, Mireille. I'm a water resource control engineer, and I work at the San Diego Regional Water Quality Control Board. And I'll touch more on the work that I do. But today for my presentation, I decided to title this presentation My STEM Journey. From what I heard from Lawson, a lot of you are interested in the STEM field. And I just wanted to share like my experience, my college experience, and my work experience. And so in my presentation today, I want to talk a little bit about me, my college experience, my career, the current work that I do professionally and separate from my career, and what a career in STEM has helped me achieve. Then towards the end, we can have questions and answers, but also feel free to interrupt me during the presentation at any time if you have questions. So I welcome those. And I do apologize in advance if I talk fast or if I jump from one thought to another thought. I tend to sometimes not complete my sentences, so feel free to like catch me and tell me to expand where you need more information from me. So about me, I'm a first generation college graduate. I grew up in a low income family, and none of my parents or family members had gone to college, and some of them didn't even go to high school or complete high school. I was the first in my family to attend college and graduate. I received my bachelor's degree in environmental engineering from San Diego State University. And I also received my master's degree in civil engineering from San Diego State University as well. I'm a Latina engineer, and I'm proud to be part of the 2% of employed Latinas in engineering. So that's a statistic that I resonate a lot with because there's not many Latinas out there that are engineers. And I always like to share that statistic. And I'm also an entrepreneur. I have some businesses that I do on my part-time outside of my full-time job. So I'll get into how I got to where I am today. So my college experience. So I did mention I was the first in the family to attend college. Nobody had gone to college before me, so I was the first one to figure out how I even needed to get to college, what I needed to do, where to find resources to get the help that I needed. I started studying chemistry. When I was in high school, I was exposed to not a lot of, but there were programs that helped me become interested in like the science field. And I started studying chemistry when I got accepted into San Diego State, SDSU for short. And when, as part of being at state, sorry, it's SDSU / state / San Diego State University. I'll use all of three terms. but I was part of the MESA program, the Mathematics, Engineering, Science Achievement Program, which I believe you have at your school. I met some students that are currently involved in this program. Is anyone in the room involved in this program? Just show of hands. Can't really see. I think I saw 2 hands. Maybe. Um,
We
But
have
if
1, 2, 3, 4 students, so.
Oh, awesome. Right. Okay. Well, that's good to hear because I honestly think it's a great program. It's the program that inspired me to switch from chemistry to engineering. So I started studying chemistry and then I switched to environmental engineering because I started to learn. So I was involved in the MESA program and I was taking um, what they're called. I'm not sure what they were called, but they're like after class sessions where you get tutoring for certain topics, like maybe chemistry, math, physics. I started attending those tutoring programs and I was meeting other students who were studying engineering and through like panels and other presentations like the one we're having today, I learned about the engineering field. And since I was already studying chemistry, I was taking a lot of chemistry courses and the environmental engineering degree had a lot of chemistry courses that I needed. So I was kind of knocking two birds with one stone on my first 2 years of college, where I was taking both the chemistry and the math and the physics courses while still making up my mind whether I wanted to switch from chemistry to engineering. Um, what made me switch definitely was learning about um like the money that you can get in engineering, and I was highly interested in that, especially coming from like a low income family. There was we didn't have a lot of money in my household, but not only that, the environmental part. I really, I've always felt like I've been an environmentally conscious person, and I wanted to be a part of um, a, a work, a field, um, like I wanted to be a part of an agency that helped protect the environment. And at the time, the agency that I knew about was called the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA for short. And if you've seen the Simpsons movie, you may have heard of the EPA through that movie. They're like the agency that comes and protects the pollution that's going on in Springfield. So I wanted to be a part of that agency, and I knew that someday I would work for them. Well, while I was still in college, I was getting involved in the MESA program. I was also part of the Equal Opportunity Program. I think there's a different acronym in the community college for EOP. Um, and I was lucky, but I I don't really like to use the word lucky because I actually worked really hard to get more than $50,000 in scholarships to pay for like my tuition and to pay for my ability to live on campus, plus have extra money to buy meals on campus and also even purchase a car during college. So it took a lot of work for me to find several scholarships. I would apply to scholarships all the time, especially my senior year of high school and even my first year of college. So I just want to recommend that to everyone. Scholarships are the way to go. You don't have to even be like a 4.0 student all the time to receive some scholarships. You just gotta believe in yourself and apply to as many as you think you qualify for, and even the ones that you don't think you qualify for, but you think the application might be easy. I recommend you still apply, because many times the people that are giving the scholarships don't always get a lot of applicants for those scholarships. And when I would apply for the scholarships, I would tend to apply for the smaller scholarships, like the maybe like 500, 1,000, 2,000. And I would just do that so often that every time I did get a scholarship, it would stack up. So it's definitely harder to get those like maybe $20,000 scholarships because they're so competitive. So my recommendation while you are all in school still is to apply for scholarships if you're interested in moving on to the university. Um, and that's for any university that you want to um, move to. And I know there's also other programs. If you're not interested in the university, maybe you want to do like an apprenticeship. Some of those programs also offer scholarships, so always be on the lookout for those scholarships. Um, I I mentioned that I lived on campus. I was lucky enough through the scholarships the scholarships paid for me to live on campus for free my first year of college. And then the second year of college, I applied to be a resident assistant. It's where you're basically you apply to live on campus, but in a supervisor role where you're overseeing like a floor of students. And this is me, a second year student supervising first year students. So you don't have to have like much experience to be a supervisor. And by doing that, I got to live on campus for free my second year, was my sophomore year. Then my third year, I was applying to part-time jobs because I needed the money. Like I said, it's actually funny to say that out loud because I received so many scholarships, but I did need the money because I wanted to help out at home. And so scholarships were funding my tuition, my meals, my transportation. Everything was mostly for me. But they weren't taking care of my family. Whatever was left over, I could use to maybe help my mom out, like pay rent. But I felt a responsibility and I had a desire to work part-time as a student. So I looked for jobs and I found an on-campus job working at the admissions office at state. And that was my first job on campus. I actually worked at Subway before getting that job, but I highly recommend if you are looking for part-time paid jobs to look for jobs on campus because they are very understanding of like your student schedule. And whenever you have exams, they're willing to accommodate the dates and give you time off. Plus, sometimes they also offer work study programs, I believe. You also get paid while studying. Um, and so with the money that I made, I would help my mom out. But the entire mentality that I had during college was a si se puede attitude, and that's an attitude that I got from my mom all the time. She would always push me to just focus on school, don't worry about the household items. Um, and she was just very motivating, and I'm grateful that I've had a great support system. So I recommend that if maybe you don't have that support system at home, or you do, that if you do, definitely appreciate it. And if you don't, definitely look for it. And I think this room that you're currently in is great because you get to hear from like other professionals and inspiring stories, and you have people that care about your success, and they're trying to just help you make it the goals that you have. So the other attitude and mentality that I had was the nothing's going to stop me attitude. Um, and what I mean by that is that I was not a perfect student when I was in college. and a lot of times sometimes I would get like D grades, sometimes F grades, and that would put when I did get, and I think I got like a D in organic chemistry. And just because it was so difficult to manage studying and working at the same time, plus being a first time college student and not having like the resources to um, get extra tutoring outside of the basic tutoring that was offered at school, compared to like other students at state. They would I knew friends that would pay to have personal tutors tutor them. And so that's why I appreciated the MESA program so much, because they offered free tutoring that otherwise without it, I would have probably struggled so much in my engineering coursework. Um, but also with the nothing's going to stop me mindset, um, really, I decided that nothing was going to stop me. I started struggling a lot with math. My I think my junior year of college, once I had to take calculus 1, then calculus 2, then calculus 3, like just taking those math courses, it really made me realize that math wasn't my strongest suit. And then I also realized that I didn't need to get A's in all of my classes. I just needed to pass. Like a C was still going to get me the degree. So I decided to prioritize my time, my limited time, because I had limited time in being a student, plus being a part-time employee. um, I decided to just like focus my studies on just passing the class and doing as most as I could to pass, and um, for those very difficult classes. There were some classes that came easier, but uh, what I also mean by the nothing's going to stop me mentality was when I did get that D in organic chemistry, I wasn't gonna let that like define me. I ended up having to take the course again, so I could continue pursuing my environmental engineering degree, because it was a required course. I'm sorry, actually it was not. It was required for the chemistry program. Um, and uh, but I still needed to take chemistry for like basic chemistry for environmental engineering. And I decided like chemistry is not going to push me away from my dream of becoming an engineer. So I did everything I could to look for the tutoring classes, to go talk to mentors, figure out how can I get around this B grade. And sometimes I had to take some courses at a local community college instead of the the university class, because the university class, sometimes the professors maybe were a little bit difficult to understand, or the curriculum was very um, spread all over the place, and the exams would not be as what was taught in class. So some summers I would take courses at community college that were equivalent to my university classes, and I would still get the same credit, and I would get the passing grades that would transfer over to my university. So I did attend some community college classes, Mesa and City, during my university degree program. And I always recommend, I know you're all in community college right now. If you do move on to university, don't be afraid to come back to the community college, because they offer a lot of good programs as well and great professors. Um, During my college career, I also sought a lot of mentors, mostly through the MESA program, but also by being involved in other leadership positions outside of MESA, and EOP. I said no to distractions, and by that I meant, well, you might know that San Diego State is a big party school. Some people like to call it a big party school. And yeah, it honestly is, but only if you're like a party goer. And you can say no. Like if you don't want to go to a party, then say no. And a lot of times I had to do that, especially my freshman year, where when like my roommate, I was dorming. I lived in a room with two other people, so it was three of us living in sharing one room. Um, and my they were my friends. They some weekends they would go partying, and they would invite me, of course, and they'd be like, "Well, I can't. I have to study for my exam coming up." And so that's what I mean by saying no to distractions. Like, of course, I would go out with my friends and like go out and dine out, hang out. But I said no to distractions and anything that would stand in my way of sometimes putting my scholarships at risk. I really didn't want to put my scholarships or my education at risk by attending those distracting parties. um, and through my career college experience, it was my junior year of college where I found an internship in my field in environmental engineering. And I found my internship through the MESA program because the MESA program had a STEM Shadow Day, which I believe they have it every year, but this year they're having it next month. Is anyone going to that STEM Shadow Day from this room or signed up? One person? Oh, awesome. Okay. Yeah. So the agency that I currently work for, which I'll talk about in the next slide, um, they participate in the STEM Shadow program, and that is how I found out of my current agency and who I work for, because I attended a Mesa STEM Shadow Day um, event, and I shadowed the people that I currently work with. And they had an internship opening. And so as soon as I found out they had an internship opening, I was like, I have to apply. I'm going to apply right away. And I'd love to talk a little bit more about that later, but I do got to get through my slides. So I'm going to move on to what I currently do. Um, so, okay. So I'm currently a water resource control engineer at the San Diego Regional Water Quality Control Board. For short, we're called San Diego Water Board. And we're basically the EPA. Remember I mentioned that acronym earlier, Environmental Protection Agency. We are the sub-branch that deals with water. So the EPA deals with air quality, like air pollution. They deal with trash control. They deal with toxic substances, and water. So I work in water boards, so I deal with water quality. And our mission is to preserve, enhance, and restore the quality of California's water resources and drinking water for the protection of the environment, public health, and all beneficial uses, such as like swimming, fishing, and to ensure proper water resource allocation and efficient use for the benefit of present and future generations. So that is our fancy mission statement. But basically what it means is that the work that we do is to protect the water quality, such as the water quality in the oceans. When you go swim at the beach, you want to be comfortable knowing that when you swim and accidentally ingest water, that you're not going to get sick. So we have different programs that work to protect the water quality of the ocean, and the rivers and creeks that eventually end up draining to the ocean. We have several programs where we look at groundwater, we look at surface water, and we look at healthy waters as well. I work in the stormwater management unit, and what I oversee is a program to manage the water that um, drains to the ocean when it rains. So when it rains, that water touches the floor, the streets, and um, it runs off to a nearby creek or river. And while it's running off, it picks up grease, trash, dog poop. It picks up pollutants, chemicals like pesticides, nutrients. It all ends up in the river, and then from the river it ends up in the ocean. So we have several programs where we require different cities, 39 in total. So City of San Diego, City of La Mesa, it's a national city. Let's see, where are you located? You're in City of San Diego. So, and several cities across San Diego County, we require them to establish programs where they protect the water quality. And what I mean by that is they establish projects where some projects can treat the water so that the pollution can decrease before it ends up in the ocean. So more of what I do, I mostly write policy to protect water quality in San Diego. I recently wrote legal requirements to require 29 different cities to begin investigating sources of bacteria and eliminate those sources of bacteria that end up in the ocean. So bacteria is a big topic right now here in San Diego. It's very important because so I don't know if many of you have heard of that what bacteria is, but there are bacteria everywhere. When you ingest well, the bacteria that I'm talking about is fecal bacteria. So fecal bacteria that is found in the water, if you ingest water that's contaminated, you can get sick. You can get gastrointestinal illnesses. And so one of the big topics that I work on is that specific pollutant, which is bacteria. There's other pollutants, of course, but my specialty and my expertise is in bacteria. So I mostly write policy to protect public citizens of San Diego and also protect aquatic life. I also conduct inspections of different facilities such as construction facilities, industrial facilities, and highways like the Caltrans highways and of universities as well. I also get to travel for conferences. I've traveled to Sacramento. I've traveled to San Francisco, and I've traveled to Los Angeles as part of like my work. And I'm really lucky to be able to do that because it gives me an opportunity to meet other people in my field from other places of the state, while also traveling for my personal interests and exploring new cities. And I also facilitate meetings with members of the public and public agencies where sometimes I'm facilitating meetings of 30 plus to almost 200 attendees. And this is through the work that I do in the stormwater management unit. Here are some pictures of me presenting at one of our board meetings where I presented a policy that was called the time schedule order. You can see the audience, some of the audience in the back. This is not a great picture of the audience. There's more people, but not shown here. This picture over here is when I met met Secretary oh, I'm blanking on her name, but she's an EPA secretary, and it was I went to Sacramento and I met her. And then here are some of my coworkers where we went to a conference in front of San Diego Bay, which is here in San Diego, but it was a conference for work. And then here's me at the California EPA building in Sacramento. Recently I was awarded with a Superior Accomplishment Award by my board members. In this picture, it's me holding my award with the board chair and then board members in the back. And then here's me thanking the board members for my award. And there's some audience members in the back. But this award was for my work in writing that policy that I mentioned earlier, requiring more than 29 cities to investigate and eliminate sources of bacteria entering our creeks. And in efforts to protect water quality. And I'm really proud to have received this award. I just received it earlier this month, and it's really it's very unique because only 1 in 100 employees qualify for this award each year, and I was the lucky one this year for my office. Okay, so I know we're running short on time, so I'm almost done. I think I have 3 more slides. But I wanted to get back to talking about STEM and what a career in STEM has helped me achieve. I'm such a strong advocate for people pursuing STEM careers because, and more specifically engineering, because I do that, engineering, and also because I just know how much potential and rewards you can get from having a degree in STEM, specifically engineering. And my top one is that you get to make money. I've been so grateful that through my engineering degree, I've been able to have a career that gives me a job that pays me well. And through my pay, I've been able to have enough money to help my parents, which is something I've always wanted to do. I've always done during college, and now I can do more because I have extra money. And it has also allowed me to pursue my dreams. Outside of my 9 to 5, like my career, I've been able to use my funds to pursue my dreams in photography and other business ideas. I'm currently, I own a photo booth, and I also manage with my husband our organic juicery business, which just opened up. And I have another slide for that over, but I'll just jump to it now and come back to this one. But this is us. And this is my organic juicery business. We're on Instagram and we're called City Fresh Organic Juicery. And actually just yesterday was our first day at the farmer's market. We've been doing this for a year now. And finally, we've been doing a whole process to get into the farmer's market. And yesterday was our first day and it was a success. So just wanted to share that because it's very new. This was just yesterday. These pictures, the left one and the right one. I just took those yesterday, and it's a big accomplishment for my husband and I. So I just wanted to share that. And I'll go back to my other slide. Back to STEM. So basically, the money that I have earned through having a career in STEM has helped fund these hobbies of mine, photography and being a business owner. At the same time, I've been able to participate in public speaking events such as this one, and I attended some past MESA conferences. Here's me serving on a panel of other female engineers in different fields. I believe this was the 2021, actually, 2022 Mesa conference, I believe. So I highly recommend that you attend that one. When it is in San Diego again, I think this year I think it's in Sacramento. But the previous 2 years they were in San Diego. And at that conference I got to meet Katia E. I think many of you might be familiar with her. She's a community college alumni. Um, and I've been able to meet like other professionals in the field through my public speaking, and at the same time share like my experience with students and hopefully inspire you guys to also pursue a career in STEM. I've been able to travel. Here's my husband and I when we traveled to Hawaii. Um, and I've been able to try new things such as like snowboarding, which I would have never been able to do. Well, I never did growing up, and snowboarding is pretty expensive, so I'm happy to say that I can afford it if I want to do it. I think I tried it once and it's very intense. I definitely fell a lot of times. It's to be determined if I'll try it again, but the point is that I've been able to just try new things that without money I wouldn't have been able to do. So a lot of people sometimes say like money doesn't buy you happiness. And I think that is different for a lot of people. But definitely for me, it's helped a lot with my happiness. Let's be real. It does help. Um, and mostly I've been able to help my parents and uh, help them so they don't have to worry about their finances all the time. Um, and I've been able to be a mentor and STEM advocate because I'm just so passionate. I've seen what STEM can do and what having a rewarding career can do. And I just want to inspire others to also pursue STEM field because there's just so much opportunity for you all. And I think that is all of my slides. So I'm happy to take any questions. If you want me to talk more about my agency and what we do, I didn't really go into depth because I have a whole presentation for that, but I want to be mindful of time. And so I'm happy to take questions. And if not, I have my contact information where you can find me on LinkedIn. I'd love to connect on LinkedIn, or you can email me or follow me on Instagram as well. So yeah,
Thank
happy to-
you. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Does anybody have any questions off the top of their minds right now? Okay. We have a couple of questions that we wrote for you. Do you want to ask this one? Oh, sure. Feel free to step on it.
Hello, my name is Alina Costa. I was just curious what's expected of you coming in as like a first time STEM like graduate at any work field that you've been to.
Okay. Yeah, I think so. I think I had a little bit of a different experience because I I kind of skipped over it, so I do apologize for that. But I mentioned that I was an intern for my current agency, right? I became a student intern at my agency in the same unit that I currently work under. And I was still in school studying for while being an intern. And once I graduated from my bachelor's in 2019, that was in May 2019. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me backtrack it a little bit more. So I became an intern in 2017, and I was with my agency interning from 2017. And I graduated May 2019. I was still an intern. And then, so I graduated, I was looking for jobs and I was applying for jobs because I had my degree. and I was still in this place where I could still be an intern. I had graduated, but I had 3 months to still be an intern before they kicked me out because I was no longer a student. And so I was applying to jobs, and at the time there were not a lot of jobs taking environmental engineers. But I think it's because I also only applied to a few because I was still considering doing the master's program. So I wasn't really job hunting that as much. I think I only applied to maybe 3 jobs before I landed my current job, which it worked out in a good time because they opened up a full-time position at my agency in December 2019. So a little bit after I graduated. Um, and so I had a different, to answer your question, I had a different path because I was already an intern and I was already learning the work that my agency does before I actually got hired full time. So that's why I definitely recommend doing internships at companies or agencies or jobs you want to work for, because they're more likely to hire the people that already know what what the company does. Especially if you're an intern, they're investing so much time into teaching you about the work that they do, that they're more invested in keeping you on for a full-time job. But if you don't have that and you're like new from school entering the field, I think a lot of times they're very understanding of maybe like your limited experience in the working field, and you're still likely to get hired because you're young and you bring in a new perspective, and you're I think there's a better word for it, but you're teachable. Like they can still teach you how to perform the job. Um what else? They oh, I highly recommend getting involved while you're a student. If you're having trouble finding an internship, I recommend getting involved in leadership opportunities, because those leadership opportunities, you can still add them to your resume, and they're great resume builders. Even any involvements, clubs that you're in, anything you've done for the clubs, any management positions. I highly recommend including those and talking about those when you're applying to jobs, interviewing, um, and yeah, I'm not sure if I answered your question, but I think I touched on some topics. Okay.
Thank you so much. We have a follow-up question for you. You are like the definition of a multi-hyphenate, so that's someone who just is not just talented in one thing, but is open to learning and doing all these different types of really great things. So what do you do for yourself? Because you have a lot, right? You're employed, you have a family, you have a partner, you have all these amazing relationships, right? So what do you do to balance all of this together?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I'm very honest all the time. It's um very difficult to manage a lot, but I definitely always um because I'm the person that I want to do everything, I want to have time for everything, and I end up somehow finding time for everything. But it is a lot to handle sometimes. Some days I feel like I can handle the world and crush everything, and then other days I'm like, nobody talk to me. I'm overwhelmed. I need to take a long nap. So in terms of like what I do for myself, I like to go to the gym, like work out. That helps me. There's always a lot of thoughts going on in my mind, like things I want to work on. But going to the gym helps me like just focus it like clears my head. So I try to definitely find time for that. And when I'm not at the gym, I definitely like to watch Netflix and just relax at home. Because you're right there. I'm working full time, working a job, and then I guess I'm lucky right now because I don't have children, so I don't have that responsibility to take care of you know my kids in the future. Hopefully I will. But right now I'm in a good position where I can use all my time just for myself because I'm still trying to take care of myself and accomplish my dreams. But yeah, I think those are the top two things that I do for myself while doing all of that. I do want to mention that I think a benefit of my job is that I just I get to work 9 to 5, so 40 hours a week, and I'm not expected to work more than that. And that's because I work for a public agency. And they have strict rules on like the hours you're expected to work. In contrast, if I worked for a private um company, sometimes you're expected to work up to 60 hours. And they care about like giving you a project and you completing the project at deadlines that they set for you. So I really like my job because it offers a lot of flexibility. Also, I have every other Friday off work. So, for example, this Friday I'm working, but the next Friday I'll have a 4-day weekend because of the holiday. So I do get a lot of time off, and I'm also very lucky because my job gives me 14 hours of paid time off each month. That's almost equivalent to 2 days off
Wow.
a month. So um, it's almost as if I don't work that much, but I do. I still work 40-hour work weeks. But what I'm saying is that I have a good schedule where I can balance my full-time job and then beside hobbies on the weekends.
Thank you so much. Did you want to ask the one that you wrote next? Or the one- Whichever. That one? Okay. One of our students wanted to ask you with your job, your agency, do you deal with the sewage crisis in Imperial Valley? And that one's personal to me because I'm actually from Imperial Valley. So yeah, so I thought it was really spot on that one of our students over here was asking about that. Does that impact your work at all?
Yeah, that's good that you mentioned that. So I mentioned that I work with the stormwater management unit, and we kind of touch on that, but we have another unit. It's called the NPDS, National Pollution Protection Elimination System unit, and they're the ones that are um more involved than me. I'm aware of that issue. Our whole board and our whole agency is aware of the issue. We actually have monthly board meetings where we talk about the issue. But I'm not like the direct point of contact that manages that program. But it is a big deal because it does touch on the topic of like bacteria. The sewage ends up in the ocean. And then that bacteria is affecting the residents that well, first of all, you can't swim because the beaches are closed. And that's to protect the public from getting those gastrointestinal illnesses. Um, I highly recommend if you are ever free to attend one of our board meetings, either in person or virtually. We offer them virtually as well, where um, the acronym is the U.S. International Boundary Commission, which is the sewage treatment plant. They come and present the issues and what they're doing to resolve them. They provide updates on how that progress is going. So we are likely to have a meeting next month. It's usually the second Wednesday of every month where we discuss those issues. So if you're interested in seeing how our agency is involved, I would recommend attending. But I do have my colleague, Melissa Corona is the one that's mostly overseeing that program.
And that was what was the name of the commission?
I might butcher the name, but I believe it's USIBWC. U.S. International Boundary Water Commission. I think. Might have to,
I mean, it should probably, like, if we were to Google it, it should probably show up.
it should, I think so.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much again for taking the time to be here with us. We have no further questions. It kind of sounds like a courtroom. We have no further questions, but thank you so much for spending time with us. We appreciate you. We have all your information. Thank you so much again for stopping by. And please correct me if I'm wrong. Mireille, was that the right way to say your name? Mireille?
Mireille?
Mireille. Okay, perfect.